Hey everyone, so welcome back to the channel. It's another strong week. And this week I want to talk about the top 5 things that I believe investors will care about if you're raising money or if you're thinking about building a startup and raise money in the future. So let's get started. The number one thing is, am I missing out? That's something that the investors would care about and think about in their head, right? So imagine like you're a YC startup founder, or if you have joined, some other accelerator program, or you have already raised some seed round money, or like you're just raising the next round and you have some offers on the table. And when you walk into another investor's office, like the conversation will be completely different, as opposed to if you're just like a team that's just getting started and you don't have no funding, no connections, and you want to ask them for a deal. Right, it's very similar to finding a job, right? So if you have a Google offer and an Amazon offer on your hand, then negotiating with Facebook will be much, much easier for the same role with much higher salaries being paid, right? So all the investors are thinking about, hey, am I missing out, right? If I only have 5 shots this year, which one should I bet on in order to get 10x, 100x, 1000x return? So these guys don't want to miss out on the next OpenAI, and they also don't want to miss out on the next Instacart, right? So it depends on the business that you're trying to do, even if it's high tech, or if it's not high tech, it's more on the consumer side of the market. They want to know if there's somebody else who's also believing in you and want to give you money to do that. But let's say like now you have probably got some traction, and you probably have got some offers or without any offer, right? What investors really care about, number two, is this going to be a very large market? Is it going to be a really large and scalable opportunity? Because at the end of the day, there are two types of startups. One of them is a side business. Another one is a VC scalable business, right? For any side business, you probably can see some indie hackers or individual solo founders on YouTube or on Twitter talking about, their software can be making over $1,000 a month. Sometimes some of them even $10,000 a month, but that's probably less scalable because the entire audience cohort is just there and that's it. For any VC scalable business, you could go all the way to, say, currently maybe your initial pool of users is 100, but later you're going to scale it to 100,000 users or even a million users, right? So this is something that VCs will care about. Is this going to turn out to be a very large market eventually, right? But to be honest, nobody knows, right? Sometimes founders just create market by themselves, right? For example, there's no ride sharing, there was no room sharing, but then later Uber and Airbnb came out. On the other hand, right? So a lot of people think that language learning is not going to be big, but Duolingo pretty much just created a whole new market for it, so that a lot of people are looking into micro learning now. And I believe that the recent financial statement of Duolingo did pretty well, and their stock price increased significantly. So it's very common to think that, hey, this is not going to grow very big, but sometimes founders can prove themselves that this is going to grow into a bigger market or create a new market. But investors care about that, right? So you need to convince them. Either your targeted market is already very big, or you're creating something new that's going to scale into something that they've never seen before. The third point is, do the customers really want to use a product, right? It's about building something that people want to use. So basically, it's about showing your success metrics, right? If the people have onboarded to your platform through any channel, either through marketing or through your bottom-up sales pitch or through some top-down sales, corporate SaaS, it's very important to show, hey, I've onboarded perhaps 1,000 users. How many of them actually remain on the platform in the next 2 weeks? How many of them actually keep coming back to using your platform, right? These metrics are something that VCs would care a lot about, because this is showing that people are actually using it. This is real traction. And to be honest, in my opinion, this speaks 1,000 times louder than any market size, any founder background, or anything. This is real traction. And sometimes I see these posts on LinkedIn or Twitter, people saying that they didn't even care about what investors say. They just focus on the users, focus on building traction, and investors come to them and want to invest in them because they have got really good metrics, right? So the number 3 point, which is I think probably the most important one, is, can you prove that you can create traction? Can you prove that it's actually something people want? And then you don't have to worry about investors. They'll come to you. So the fourth point is, are you the right team? Investors usually ask, so why are you guys the right team to build this? Can you guys actually build it? Right? Because for some teams, they don't have technical co-founders. For some teams, they probably wonder, do you have the right experience in this field to do this work? Right? So for example, if you're doing a lot of self-driving car related projects, then it makes sense that you build a self-driving car or some similar areas as a startup. But if your entire team came from a marketing and sales background, then a self-driving car project does not seem to be a great fit for you, right? On the other hand, if you're doing a lot of the consumer side of the market or SMB market, have you had any experience in the past supporting these people? Have you had any experience scaling up a product in the past to enable these people to either to save time, make more money, or increase their satisfaction of using a product? These are all great for you to prove that you guys are a great team for this idea. And last but not least, investors care about, can you guys raise money? Because you'll be surprised that a lot of people are very good at building, a lot of people are very good at doing sales, but they might not necessarily be good at pitching themselves in front of a table of investors who might be having a very diverse backgrounds, who might have seen numerous cases in the past, and these people might ask you very tough, challenging questions. And many times they don't have context. They're not in the field. They're not talking to your users. So can you raise money from these guys who maybe you know them personally, or maybe you're just reaching out as a stranger, right? So I would say for anybody who's is doing a lot of communities or social media posts or building up your brand online, this is already a great traction to show that you can get people's attention. You can have the basic charisma that people would like to click in your content and watch you. And perhaps some investors will also see your content and then build up these early stage connections with you. So in fact, like for YouTube and LinkedIn that I'm posting, it's already happening, right? So every time I post something related to startup or related to investors, there are always some VCs reaching out. There are always some other founders reaching out, asking what we're trying to do, asking if we need any help, asking if at some point, when are we raising the money. So this is all great signals for investors, because nobody wants their money just to be invested and then gone, right? Everybody wants to exit. Everybody wants to a certain level of a strong exit, like 100x, if not 1000x. So if you can show that you can raise money, then these early stage investors, who most likely probably will not stay until you went IPO, or at least will dilute a lot, but they can expect that in the next perhaps 1 to 5 years, they can exit a certain amount, so that this amount of investment that they made in the early days is worth it. Eventually, an interesting fact, it's about if the VCs actually have the money, right? For some VCs, they probably decide that they only gonna invest 5 deals this entire year, so they're gonna be super careful. And what you're gonna see is that they're gonna ask you later stage questions, which is very mature questions for people who have already probably got traction and got really strong scaling tailwind, when the startup is still at a early stage, right? What I mean by that is that perhaps you're still in the incubation stage, and then all these VCs are asking you very, very, long-term questions. Of course, they just want to understand what's going on, but they make a decision that they won't invest in you. Don't get offended by that. Don't get discouraged by that. It probably means that they don't have money, right? If people have money, like a lot of the well-funded investors or well-funded accelerators, incubators, or angel investors, these guys believe you. These guys look at your background. These guys look at what you're trying to do. These guys look at what you have done in the past, and then they invest in you because they think that, okay, these guys can figure something out. Looks like they can figure something out. We did our due diligence. We made a bet, and let's see what happens. And let's try to support these guys, right? Because they know that down the road, if you're really gonna build it for the next 5 to 10 years, you're gonna learn, right? They want to know if you guys are the right team to bet on, and then grow with you. So yeah, I guess that's just some personal thoughts and experience based on the past few years of interacting or talking to VCs. And hope that's helpful for you. And let me know if you have any other thoughts. Like and subscribe and comment down below in the comment section. Thanks.